Hello everyone and welcome back to Aussie Starcraft, where today we are casting the grand finals of WCS Korea Season 2. Now if you've been watching the other videos on our channel, you would have seen some fantastic games from both these players, as we did cast the whole of the semi-finals or round of 4. So have a nice showcase of both these players' abilities coming into this finals. The map is of course Akilon Waste. In the top left hand corner we have our yellow Terran Maru, who's just given us an excellent showcase of quite quick and patented aggression versus other Terran players. Saw him demolish innovation in the round of 4 in absolutely stellar style. To be able to do that to a Terran of innovation, skill and success level was just phenomenal. One of the quickest best of 7 rounds that I've ever cast. So excited to see him play in the finals and wondering if he can repeat that sort of success against a Protoss player, or if he'll indeed have to vary up his strategy somewhat. In the bottom right hand corner of Akilon Waste we have Rain, who so far in this tournament has just been playing absolutely phenomenally, taking out some of the best Terrans in the world to earn his spot here in the grand finals. We saw him play out against Bomber in the last series of games and win that quite convincingly. So showing that he's in excellent Terran crushing form, and we'll see if he can repeat that against Maru, or if he will indeed have his streak upset by our sneaky yellow Terran. Both these players just tip-top form, excellent play. I think here on Akilon Waste we could see just about anything out of these two, from quick and sneaky aggression, hidden proxies we've seen in previous games, or we could see a straight up macro game. It is quite easy to take 2 or 3 base here on Akilon Waste, so we'll see if we get a longer game out of these two. Rain starting off with a bit of annoyance from his probe, just harassing these constructing SCVs, building a command center on the low ground. Continuing to pest Maru's SCV as it tries to build this barracks. Almost killed, but you'll see that Maru repaired that SCV so it couldn't be one hit by the probe. We have Rain throwing down a Nexus of his own on the low ground, looking to expand early, keep up with Maru's expansionist playstyle on this level. Now, just want to mention what's on the line here. The WCS is of course the World Championship Series, where there is a phenomenal prize pool available, one of the biggest prize pools in current tournament play at present. For this series of games, the prize pool is well over 100,000, with $20,000 being the first place victory pool. Second place in this series will get $12,000. So one of these players will walk away with the big $20,000, and even with second place, one of these players is going to walk away with $12,000. That is not all though, ladies and gentlemen. There is also on the line 500 coveted WCS points, so that will determine their ranking overall in this season, not just this season of play, but this year of play, and will lead them to getting a position in larger tournaments later in the year. So a lot on the line for these players, and we'll see if they can deal with that stress, or if one of them will in fact fold under the pressure. Wouldn't expect to see that at this level of play, but you never know. Some players tend to do phenomenally well in ladders and early round of tournaments, but experience severe difficulty in the later rounds, not to mention any names, but it's been known to happen. Just wondering what you guys are hoping for. Have we got more Terran fans out there, or more Protoss fans hoping for Rain's victory here in the grand finals? Taking out that scouting probe, trying to deny Rain any further intel. We see the bunker's almost finished. Both these players are opening fairly standard, though we do have Rain throwing down a number of gateways now. 3 gate and his robo facility almost finished up now. So we could see some sort of a 2-base timing out of Rain. Might just have to open my door. It is phenomenally hot here in Australia today. Saturday, beautiful day, sun high in the sky, but stinking hot weather. So trying to seal myself up in the room so I don't annoy everyone with my casting, but it's a bit too hot to shut the door today. Have an observer from Rain heading out into the middle of the map, trying to keep an eye on when this Terran force does indeed move out. Rain just being a bit sneaky with his stalker, trying to get a few kills if he can. He does, of course, outrange the Marines, and if he's sneaky enough, we'll be able to lower and hurt a good deal of those Marines. Missile turret up at the front's an interesting choice. If you're wondering why that is, it's likely because Rain has been known to be sneaky on a few of these maps and try and sneak a Dark Templar into both the main and the expansion. One into each, and it tends to get in, I believe it was the last series that we cast, between the two between the two Dark Templar, there was something like 20 worker kills, so just a phenomenal amount of damage. Even if they don't kill SCVs, they do have to waste scans to try and pick them up, unless of course they do drop the missile turrets early on. So dropping that there at the front so that no Dark Templar can sneak their way in. Have the observer moving around, obviously wanting to have a bit of a scout, see what he can see what the mid-game tech choices are from Maru. And we can see the starport lifting off and going for the reactor there that was constructed by the factory, so we'll probably see double medevac production. Yep, and indeed we do. 2 medevacs, 2 marauders and 2 marines on the way at a time. We do have a substantial number of marines already out, so it's likely that once these medevacs arrive, these marines and marauders will choose to move out. First Colossus is on the field though, so this that'll be a sign for Maru that he will need to produce a few Vikings. Of course, the extended thermal lance now on the way as well, showing that it's likely that Rain will commit to this this Colossus tech path for a little bit longer than he may have otherwise. We've spoken about previous games. Very common for Protoss to knock out a Colossus or two and then straight away transition into High Templar, so that once the Viking numbers get too high and the Colossus die quickly, the Vikings become useless and the High Templar can storm the Marine Marauder bio. Now we could see a lot of different things out of Maru with this aggression here. We could see him just try and push up into the second. We could see him pick up in these medevacs. Quite a lot of options that he has. Extended thermal lance still not quite completed, so I don't know that he wants to push out as far as he is. Stim pack is finished. A big stim from these Marines and Marauders could catch those Colossus unaware. Hallucinated Phoenix going to be moving out, checking out what's going on. Probably wanting to see if Maru is in fact expanding and if it's safe for Rain to do so. Quite a lot of proxy pylons up at the moment, so Rain will want to be using those to launch counterattacks. Maru will need to be a bit careful of what he has planned. I'm surprised we haven't seen a warp prism. We saw it used to quite good effect in the last series, but it looks like Rain's feeling quite content to just amass the Protoss death ball as quickly as he can. 3 Colossus now on the field. We see that Maru still hasn't gone for any Vikings, which is a bit of an interesting choice. Templar Archives now are on the field, so we can see that Rain's planning to transition out of this. But I've got to say, unless Maru catches him in the middle of the map, these Colossus could do significant damage to the Terran forces. Big Doom drop moving out. We have 4 medevacs full of units, big scans to see if there's any units waiting to pick those up, and indeed there are. Quite a number of Stalkers and Zealots. Not entirely sure, but I'd say that 7 Stalkers would be pretty close to one-shotting those medevacs, so Maru will have to be very careful with his positioning of those. He can easily go for one of those Doom drops and lose half his army in quite quick fashion. Choosing unload on the low ground. We might well see him swing around into this try and put pressure on this third as Rain tries to expand. Hallucinated Phoenix still moving out, trying to get an idea what's going on. We've actually not had a whole lot of aggression so far in this game. There's only 400 resources lost from our Protoss and 200 from our Terran player. Another poor scouting Zealot getting taken out, his life indeed given for ire. Try and track down and work out where this Terran force was moving to. High Templar now on the way. they will hopefully get the enough energy to cast Storm. Indeed, they should. Now a 75. Once Storm finishes casting, they are indeed capable of storming this large bioforce. 3 Vikings on the way at a time now. I can see that Maru's realised he won't be able to push up into this Protoss army without, well, meeting a horrible end at the hands of these War of the Worlds style Colossus. I don't know about you guys, but what did Colossus remind you of? The only thing I can think of is War of the Worlds. So ended poorly, of course, for them in War of the Worlds. Let's hope it goes a little bit better for Rain today. Have a Marine being taken out there and a second one down here. Just trying to keep an eye on where Rain is moving his forces. We have Maru positioning himself as well. Massive bioforce moving out. He is maxed out at 200 supply, you can see, to 190 of Rain. So we have the Vikings positioned well here. It will be very difficult for the Stalkers to try and pick off those Vikings as they hover around over a sneaky High Templar there, trying to storm the Vikings, and he does get a little bit of damage on those. Oh, another storm. Rain's been very sneaky with these Ninja High Templars, spreading them out around the map, sneaking up on this Terran force. We see the Vikings now have taken substantial damage, and Maru's being forced to back out here. So quite excellent play out of Rain, using those. You don't often see those Ninja High Templars sneaking out across the map. Pretty bold move, as Kerrigan would say, to try and sneak up on the Terran force and drop a storm. Generally a one-way trip for them. Stalker's blinking up to take out the SCV. They will get him right after he drops the command center. Won't be surprised if this cancels momentarily, but the Protoss army does have a little bit more to concentrate at the moment. Storms going out, big storms on the Vikings and fire. You can see the Marines and Marauders dying under those terrible psionic storms, just ripping them apart. If we check out the units lost tab, we can see that it has indeed swung considerably back into Rain's favour. Upgrades at the moment are in fact at 2 armour, 1 weapons for Protoss, and then 2-1 for the Terran player as well. But what Maru has to watch out for is the sheer burst damage of this force. The storms combined with the Colossus just are going to tear apart the bio on the ground quite quickly. Warp Prism trying to warp in a few Zealots to harass, try and take out this Ghost Academy. Unfortunately for Rain, those Zealots will go down before the Ghost Academy does, and that will get repaired, and we will indeed see Ghosts on the field from Maru. EMPs obviously factoring very heavily into the late game matchup of these two forces. TvP, the EMPs can very much... Oh, massive warp in of Zealots behind the back of Maru's mineral line. Marauders here catching them in a bit of a choke point, but these simmed up Marauders are dying quite quickly to these 2-1 Zealots. Supply depots getting taken out. We can see that is actually starting to affect Maru. Is losing his supply cap down to 173, or 174 of 177, and Rain doing an excellent job of putting pressure on the front wall. He indeed continues this harass at the back. The Viking is now taken out that Warp Prism, and we see consistent zealot pressure on these bases, causing real problems for Maru. Will Maru be able to muster something here? We do have 4 base Protoss to 3 base Terran. Maru really has to do something to change the tempo of this game, and this is not it. We have Zealots, we have Zealot Archon pushing up the ramp, we have High Templars dropping storms, and we just see the supply plummeting here for Maru. These Vikings are starting to pick off the Colossus, but the Stalkers blink into position to wipe out the Vikings. 1 Colossus does go down, but Maru forced a GG out of game number 1. What excellent game from Rain, excellent aggression, to be double-pronged aggression with that Warp Prism sneaking into the main. Maru really had to be able to shut that down so he could focus all of his efforts on the front. At this stage of the game, when Protoss has all of its tier 3 units, its Archons, High Templars, Colossus all on the field, Terran really needs to be able to consolidate for an even fight. Having half your army up defending your base while the other half tries to hold the front of your base just isn't going to cut it for you. And unfortunately for Maru, engaging in this choke really does favour Protoss, able to storm the top of the ramp, to really make Maru pay for the concave that he had established, and then just the Colossus able to do the damage to put it over the line. 20 kills between these remaining Colossus. Who knows how many the others are able to rack up, but just a great game out of these two. An excellent start to these grand finals. So we see Rain taking a 1-0 lead going into game number 2, and we'll see you in game number 2 right after the break.